Owen Turtenwald do battle here against Dan Musser. Congratulations on Musser for heading back to the Pro Tour, of course. And with his red flag deck, he could become a Grand Prix champion here. But he's got some stiff competition that he's going to have to get through. Just got through his friend there, Evan Smith, and now he's got to get through one of the game's very best here in Owen Turtenwald. Two players, Midwestern guys that have been at the same tournaments for some time now. Looks like Musser on a mulligan here.
A couple outliers here for his deck. It's not a perfect Molten Nursery deck, but it's pretty close to it. He does have a McKinley Slide Runner here and a Valid Cut Invoker. Otherwise, all devoid.
We're underway here in the semifinals. A mountain there for Musser to start. Turtenwald with an island. It's a swamp. He's got a creature to play. I will confirm what that is, actually.
I believe it's Hammer Time over there.
Oh, it's Slab Hammer. Thank you. It's the first time we've seen it all weekend.
Another card that we said, you know, we haven't seen any copies of this so far. It's a bit of an outlier in Musser's deck, which in my opinion is a little bit on the controlling side. But with two Molten Nurseries in the deck, I'd rather be filling out with colorless cards than with colored cards.
McKinney Slide Runner into a Herald of Kozilek here for Turtenwald. Turtenwald likes his deck quite a bit, and it might be the best deck in the top 8. We'll see, as there is a vestige of Emrakul. Remember now, all colorless spells are going to cost one less thanks to the Herald. Turtenwald with a Nettle Drone and Island will pass the turn back over to Musser. Musser will untap that 4 mana, take a draw step.
Probably a little bit too behind on the board to go Hammer Time here.
I'm inclined to agree. I'm inclined to agree. A mountain there from Musser. Here's an Anticipate from Turtenwald. He'll take a look at the top 3, take a card with him. Top card's going to go to the bottom. Anticipate, done resolving. Looks like Turtenwald looked for a mountain there.
Remember that Turtenwald with both of the landfall rares. Both the Hellkite
and the Guardian. Yeah, his deck is nice. There's Stone Fury. Vestige down. Time to attack. Musser with a turn against.
Seems like he just wants to trade off the Slide Runner and the Nettle Drone.
Yep.
Good response here from Musser.
And pretty important to have something like that there because he was going to take a pretty huge chunk that turn. Three mana here for Dan.
It's the Molten Nursery.
Yep.
Foil.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Here comes the Herald. Turtenwald have a follow-up? Nope, just going to pass the turn back for now. Turtenwald working with a lot of rares in his deck. Guardian of Tazim. Alchem Hellkite. Serpentine Spike. There's a Touch of the Void.
Combo, 3+1. That's 4.
That is 4. Remember, what Nursery can do, typically you see effects that can only go upstairs, but this can actually take care of creatures as well. But Spell Shrivel is going to take care of that Touch of the Void.
Yeah. Wizards of the Coast, way more cautious with repeat pinging effects than they used to be in the past. You and I played with all sorts of Prodigal Sorcerers plus at common. But Molten Nursery, a much bigger deck building constraint, so not quite the same card.
The Guardian of Tazim is now here for Turtenwald. That's one of his many rares. There's a Sludge Crawler. It's going to wear the Slab Hammer now. Pass the turn back over to Turtenwald, Will Musser.
And when you mulligan and your draw is a little mix of offense and defense, like you see with Musser right here, it's often hard to cobble together a winning line of play against just a good curve of threats.
Here come the beatdowns. Pretty confident attack here from Owen. Musser will have to just take the damage. Slide runners to follow, pass the turn back. 19-5 here in favor of Turtenwald. Looks to be a bit of a runaway.
Grip of Desolation would potentially be a huge play here.
Could be very helpful.
He could take care of the Guardian, use the Nursery, take care of the Slide Runner. Then you're facing down 2-4 at 5. Got some time.
Musser with a pretty decent amount to think about here, though. See what Musser's considering this turn. Looks like another copy of Touch of the Void. I'll take care of the Slide Runner. And just pass the turn back now. Yeah, dealt 3 to Owen, the ping to Slide Runner. There's an island. Tap that Sludge Crawler for good. That's going to do it. Oh, Turtenwald very quickly up a game here over Dan Musser. His blue-red deck is a thing of beauty. Now, Musser's red-black deck, it's not bad either. That mulligan and the draw just didn't really come together there.
Well, Musser's deck does have that weird mix of offense and defense I spoke of. That's not going to be an uncommon thing for Musser's deck. He is definitely tilted towards a control deck, in my opinion. He's got a powerful top end, Grip of Desolation, some Eldrazi's, all that. But there is this odd bottom end to the deck, and the Slab Hammer strikes me especially as being a bit of an outlier.
Well, for the options here for both players, if you take a look at Turtenwald, who's marching his way towards potentially another Grand Prix victory to add to his resume, he knows what Musser's up to now. He knows his red-black Devoid deck. When you see the Nursery, it's a real sign.
Yes. If I was in Musser's position, I probably would have built the deck this way to begin with, but especially with Owen being pretty heavy on Devoid action in his deck, I would cut the Slab Hammer for Pathway Arrows.
Okay.
That's a swap that maybe you don't make it for game one. Pathway Arrows maybe an objectively weaker card than Slab Hammer, but I think Musser's definitely the control deck in this matchup. Turtenwald's deck's pretty aggressive, doesn't have quite the same quality late game that Musser's does. And Pathway Arrows can be really prohibitive for a deck that's trying to do stuff with Devoid creatures.
You know, Owen, I think, just doesn't want to get run over. I think that's the key here. Not sure if he wants to board in a card like Sure Strike either. He's left to the one in the sideboard. But again, I'm not sure there's much that he needs to change. His deck is built in a pretty nice way here at this point.
Musser produced close to no effective blockers that game.
Yeah.
It was really only a vestige of Emrakul that was at any point a speed bump. I don't think that card is powerful enough to justify sideboarding because you saw it in game one.
Well, it's actually pretty scary about Owen's deck, too. You know, we only saw one rare show up that particular game there in the Guardian Tazim. But he has 2 copies of Anticipate in the main and 3rd one in the sideboard. So it's actually very likely that he's just going to be able to find his best cards every game.
Yes. And I like the fact there's no non-basic lands in the deck. He has 9 islands, 9 mountains, and that's because he has Guardian and Occam Hellkite. So all he wants to do is draw basic lands.
So this is an uphill climb, not only for Musser, but for anyone Owen maybe plays against moving forward if he's able to win this match. We followed his draft. We saw the patience. Stayed red, figured out what the splash color was, and now he's doing pretty well.
And that was a recurring theme over day 2 among our highest profile players. John Finkel, Seth Manfield, Owen Turtenwald. What stood out about all the drafts of theirs that we followed was they didn't really put their head down and just take something. They tried to be as flexible as possible for as long as possible.
I think both players did a nice job of it.
Even Manfield, who opened on pack 1 with a Brutal Expulsion, just 2-color card, made every effort to wait until the last minute to commit to blue-red. Was still willing to be flexible, even in the face of opening a 2-color rare.
Game 2 underway, a mountain there for Musser. Mountain here for Turtenwald. Goes like Sentinel here for Dan. It's an island, it's a McKinney Slide Runner there for Turtenwald. Swamp here for Musser. He's going to follow up with the Nursery. Come across here for 1.
And this is some information from Turtenwald. Grand Prix used to take the foils out when you drafted. Now that's them in. Musser has now shown a foil and non-foil Molten Nursery.
Yeah, so you know he's got 2.
If we go to a game 3, I think Turtenwald is going to be very likely to remove the 1 toughest creatures from his deck. Maybe the Nettle Drones are too important to his strategy, but something like the Slide Runner might hit the sideboard.
Okay. 2 Slide Runners in the main.
You know, you may bring in the 3rd Anticipate and just get the Slide Runner out of your deck.
Mountain here for Musser. A Valakut Invoker. Pass the turn back. Turtenwald will draw. 18 to 17, the life totals in favor of Owen right now. There is a mountain. Predator's a 4/4. Musser will take that 4. He's down to 13. Turtenwald will just pass the turn back. Looks like Spell Shrivel at the ready, like we've seen for so many blue players here this weekend. Two mana here for Musser. Looks like it's a copy of Boiling Earth.
Could be a really good turn if he has a colorless card to follow up with.
Yeah, Spell Shrivel's going to take care of that, though. And there is a colorless card. Sludge Caller is going to take care of the Slide Runner. It's also going to pop up Kozilek Sentinel and allow for a pretty healthy attack here.
That turn would have been great for Musser.
Yep.
As it stands, it was merely good.
Turtenwald picks up an island. Can make the Valakut Predator into a 4/4 if he'd like. Looks like we're in a bit of a racing situation here. There's an island. In for 4 comes the Predator. Turtenwald's follow-up is the Guardian of Tazim.
And if we're in a race, this is a card that wins a race all by itself if Owen can just keep following up with islands and any reasonable play.
Musser's in some real trouble now as that flying rare has come to town yet again. He needs a way to get that thing off the battlefield. And it's unclear if he can even beat this thing. He's going to start by attacking with the Sludge Crawler. That'll make you think a little bit.
So, a couple things going on here. This is a complicated situation here because what would justify this attack? This could be a bluff. I'm not sure if it really works out the right way for Musser here. Processor Assault is the card that comes to mind.
Processor Assault is one, Touch of the Void is the other.
But the more convincing thing, if you had Processor Assault, would likely be to just attack with everything and conceal that the Sludge Belcher connecting with the Sludge Caller connecting was the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, another Nursery. Pass the turn back. There's an island. Trigger here for the Guardian. Oh boy, he's tapping mana fast. Clutch of Currency, and that is going to do it. Turtenwald's deck is a thing of beauty here. He wins this match pretty straightforward. 2-0. That blue-red deck is on to the finals. We watched him draft it, now we're watching him play it, and he is slicing and dicing.